You're 70 plus and boarding first class. Not because you paid for it, but because you knew the code word. While everyone else fights for overhead space, you're settled with your carry-on safely stowed, watching the chaos from seat 3A. Priority lanes that bypass crowds, discounts that don't appear online, services that transform flying from endurance test to VIP experience. Airlines expect you to discover these benefits for yourself, and the best perks to activate only when you know exactly what to ask for. These are the 10 hidden benefits that turn age into advantage, starting with a government program that gives seniors TSA superpowers. Every day, thousands of travelers over 75 stand in regular TSA lines, unaware they qualify for a completely different screening process. It's called TSA Cares, and most people have never heard of it. The program exists in plain sight on the TSA website. Passengers 75 and older can receive some form of expedited screening through risk-based intelligence-driven security. But the real power isn't in the policy, it's in how it works. When you call TSA Cares at 855-787-2227 at least 72 hours before your flight, you're not just requesting help, you're triggering a completely different airport experience. A passenger support specialist meets you at security, escorts you past the regular lines, and guides you through streamlined screening, where shoes stay on and pat-downs are minimized. An AARP investigation that shadowed TSA specialists at Phoenix Sky Harbor revealed what this looks like in practice. One passenger with mobility issues spoke with his assigned specialist multiple times before the flight to plan exactly what to expect. On travel day, he bypassed every line and cleared security in minutes. The business logic? TSA uses risk-based screening that recognizes older travelers as statistically lower risk. Moving them through faster improves overall checkpoint efficiency. But if everyone knew about TSA Cares, the system would collapse under demand. So it operates on need-to-know basis, serving seniors who take initiative to research and request help. Here's a secret most airlines won't tell you. Requesting wheelchair assistance unlocks elite-level service, regardless of whether you actually need mobility help. The moment you check that box, you're no longer a standard passenger. You're a priority case. A detailed analysis by travel accessibility experts reveals that wheelchair assistance really includes dedicated airline employee who meets you at the curb, escorts you past check-in lines to a priority counter, guides you through TSA screening with minimal wait times, and delivers you directly to your gate with personalized attention throughout. The Department of Transportation's Air Carrier Access Act requires airlines to promptly provide requested assistance and specifies that wheelchair passengers must not be left unattended for more than 30 minutes. This isn't just mobility help, it's concierge service with legal guarantees. Travel accessibility expert Tarita Davenach, who runs Travel for All Company, puts it simply. The one thing we all have in common is that we want to be accommodated at airports. Her advice? Wheelchair assistance transforms the airport experience from navigation challenge into guided tour. But there's a psychology here that goes deeper than logistics. Airlines staff wheelchair passengers directly because the service requires individual attention. While other passengers fight crowds and hunt for gates, wheelchair passengers receive dedicated escorts who know exactly where to go and how to get there efficiently. For senior travelers, this isn't gaming the system, it's mastering it. One checkbox and suddenly you're gliding past crowds with your own airport concierge. You didn't skip the line, you just knew how to walk through the right door. Try searching for senior discounts on airline websites. You'll find nothing. Airlines like Delta and American do offer senior fares, but they've buried them where algorithms can't find them, in their phone reservation system. Not online, not in the app, only if you call and ask. It's a hidden logic trick. If they promoted the discount, everyone would use it, but if they make it inconvenient, only the most persistent travelers benefit. Delta's official website states it plainly. Certain discounts or companion fares may apply to a selected itinerary but are not available at delta.com. Translation? Call or miss out. The savings are real, often between 5 and 15%, but the system is deliberately unpredictable. One agent might offer you a deal for a Tuesday flight from Dallas to Tampa. Another might tell you, not in this market, and hang up. Why the inconsistency? Because these discounts are a seat-filling algorithm in disguise. They're meant to quietly nudge demand on routes with soft bookings. United offers similar discounts for travelers 55 and older on select domestic and international routes, with savings of 5 to 10% off base fares with their Silver Wings Plus senior travel program. And this is where savvy seniors have the upper hand. They call the airlines. They know how to work a phone tree. They're patient enough to ask twice. A user on Flyer Talk forums captured the reality of senior fare hunting. There are discounts, but to select destinations only, acknowledging the discounts exist, just not everywhere. So if you're over 55 and booking online like everyone else, stop. The real deals aren't on your screen. They're on the line. One quick call could unlock a fare that quietly slipped past the algorithm and put your travel budget back in the black. Online check-in moves fast, but it doesn't move smart. It's built to get people processed, not prioritized. But the moment you speak to a human at the airport counter, the rules shift. Suddenly, age isn't a number, it's an advantage. Gate agents and counter staff have access to better seats, exit rows, bulkhead spots, front of cabin that don't show up online. These are typically held in reserve for last-minute needs or airline status members, but if no one claims them, they're free to assign, and seniors who ask in person are often first in line. Why? Because the airline system quietly flags older passengers for enhanced service, but only if you check in with a person. The app sees your birth date. The counter agent sees an opportunity to make your trip easier and earn goodwill at no cost to the airline. Bonus points for kindness. One Reddit traveler swears by bringing donuts for the counter crew. I've gotten upgrades by bringing in boxes of Dunkin' Donuts. It's not policy, but it doesn't hurt to sweeten the interaction. That kind of upgrade isn't random, it's retention strategy. Airlines know that senior travelers are loyal, flexible, and highly influential. A smooth experience means more return trips and more recommendations to friends, kids, and grandkids. For best results, fly midweek, early in the day, and don't skip the check-in desk. A little patience and one polite request might be all it takes to trade row 32 for row 6. No app required. Most passengers drag their carry-ons through security, while medical gear boards like royalty. No fees, no limits, no questions asked. The catch? You have to know it qualifies. Federal law gives special status to assistive devices like CPAP machines, oxygen concentrators, insulin coolers, walkers, and nebulizers. These don't count toward your carry-on allowance. But here's the part most travelers miss. Unless you tell the airline in advance, your special status may never activate. Call 48 hours before your flight. Mention the medical device. That one step flags your reservation, ensuring agents waive fees and treat your equipment with priority handling. And yes, that includes protection from being gate-checked or crammed under a seat. Some airlines go beyond the legal minimum. Delta and American both have accessibility policies that openly confirm medical devices aren't personal items. They're protected class cargo. But don't expect to find this on a booking screen or in your app confirmation. Airlines quietly prefer to handle these cases one-on-one. Why the silence? Logistics. Medical gear means extra procedures, training, and slower boarding times. The fewer people who know, the easier for the system. But for savvy senior travelers with a CPAP or cooler in tow, that silence is leverage. Here's a quiet upgrade hiding in plain sight. Most airlines let seniors board early. They just don't call it a perk. Instead, it's framed as assistance, which means the benefit is real if you know how to trigger it. Gate agents have full discretion to move passengers ahead of the boarding line, especially those who need extra time to settle in. Slower pace? Trouble with overhead bins? A little stiffness in the knees? All valid reasons. You don't need paperwork, you just need to ask. The Air Carrier Access Act requires airlines to pre-board anyone who self-identifies as needing extra time. And while it doesn't mention age specifically, most carriers interpret that broadly. Seniors who request early boarding usually get it, no explanation required. There's also an efficiency incentive. Letting seniors board first avoids slowdowns in the main queue. One delayed passenger in Group 5 can hold up an entire flight. But if that same traveler boards quietly from up front, everyone wins, especially the airline. The reality is, some carriers already flag passengers over 70 for early boarding automatically. Others wait for a request. And while families and elite cardholders still crowd the early lanes, seniors who speak up often get waved through. No status, no points, no app needed. You've waited in enough lines in life. This is one you don't have to. Airlines do offer companion discounts for senior travelers, but you won't find them plastered across the homepage. These perks live in the shadows, bundled into phone bookings and special programs, structured less like promotions and more like quiet accommodations. The logic? Seniors often travel with support, a spouse, adult child, or caregiver. And when a trip is long haul or involves medical needs, losing that booking altogether is costlier for airlines than offering a discounted second seat. So they offer reductions, typically 10% to 25% on a companion fare to lock in the sale. But it's not just about money. Many airlines also prioritize seating companions together at no extra charge. Because when assistance is part of the journey, separation makes no sense and adds risk. So instead of charging for seat selection, they quietly arrange seats side by side. British Airways, for example, offers discounted fares through its AARP partnership, not just for the senior but also for the companion. When booked through the right portal, both travelers can save hundreds, even on business class. And yes, AARP membership applies regardless of your actual age. But here's the catch. These perks don't live online. Airlines require phone bookings for companion discounts, and each case is evaluated individually. Why? To avoid a flood of false claims. By requiring phone bookings and individual evaluation, they can offer genuine help to those who really need it, while controlling costs. At 75, your boarding pass might not say VIP, but airport security often treats you like one. TSA's procedures for older travelers unlock a smoother, faster, less invasive screening process, but you'd never know it from the signage. Here's what most flyers don't realize. Travelers 75 and up can keep shoes and light jackets on, skip the intense pat-downs, and even access advanced scanners that reduce time in line. It's called risk-based screening, and as their office policy states, to better focus resources on passengers who more likely pose a risk. At major airports, this often means dedicated security lanes or self-screening stations where you can move at your own pace without feeling rushed by the line behind you. Miami, Las Vegas, and Orlando are regularly praised by senior travelers for getting it right. But the experience isn't consistent. As an accessible travel agency specialist points out, the process itself is fairly simple and straightforward, but the level of quality is all over the place. Some airports breeze you through. Others forget the policy exists. So the move is simple. Speak up. TSA agents are trained to accommodate, but the system works best when you self-identify. There's logic behind the courtesy. Older passengers are statistically low risk. Giving you a smoother experience keeps checkpoints flowing and reduces friction for everyone. It's good customer service that also improves efficiency. If you're over 75, you've earned the shortcut. The system is already built to give it to you. All you have to do is ask. Airport lounges don't advertise it, but there's a quiet back door for seniors who know where to knock. The velvet rope doesn't just open for frequent flyers. It often swings for those holding the right memberships. AARP and AAA cards are more than roadside assistance and restaurant coupons. At select airports, they unlock discounted or even complimentary lounge access. Add in the right travel credit card and you've suddenly upgraded your 3-hour layover to leather chairs, hot meals, and calm. But here's the part most travelers miss. Some lounges, especially in larger hubs, quietly waive fees for seniors dealing with long delays, medical needs, or tight connection windows. These are never advertised. It's up to the lounge manager and your confidence in asking. Why does this exist? Because airlines know something most passengers overlook. Seniors aren't just another travel demographic. They fly more consistently, stay loyal longer, and rely on the airport space differently. A bit of comfort now pays off in long-term satisfaction. The move is simple. Show your AARP or AAA card. Ask the desk. Mention your situation. The worst they can say is no. The best? A quiet corner, fresh coffee, and a travel experience that finally feels like it's working for you. Flight delays are frustrating for everyone, but for senior travelers, they can be more than just an inconvenience. That's why many airlines quietly offer priority rebooking and extra support when things go wrong. The catch? You have to ask. When a flight gets canceled, most travelers brace for chaos. Long lines, dead-end kiosks, and hours on hold. But seniors who approach airline staff and clearly state that they need additional assistance often trigger a different protocol. Airlines know that overnight delays, sleeping in terminals, or navigating complex rebooking systems can hit older passengers harder. So customer service teams are trained to flag senior travelers for enhanced help. That can mean skipping the line, getting rebooked faster, or receiving meal vouchers and hotel accommodations, even when other passengers are left scrambling. The reason isn't charity, it's strategic. Seniors are more likely to share their travel experiences, book return trips, and reward good service with long-term loyalty. One smooth save during a bad day can earn an airline years of goodwill. So if your flight gets grounded, don't blend in with the crowd. Speak up, mention your age, ask for assistance. It's not a favor, it's a system designed to help, but only if you activate it. Traveling after 70 doesn't have to mean settling for less. In fact, when you know where to look and when to ask, it often means getting more. Smoother check-ins, better seats, early boarding, quiet lounges, even discounts that most people never hear about. None of these perks are shouted from the rooftops, but they're built into the system for travelers who know how to unlock them. And now, that's you. Because age isn't just a number, it's a passport to better treatment, if you know how to use it. So the next time you fly, don't just show up. Travel like someone who knows how to make the journey easier, faster, and a whole lot more comfortable. And share this with someone who could benefit from these hidden benefits too. You've earned the knowledge, now use it. This is how age becomes advantage and how experience upgrades everything. You just decoded it. This is Transit Code.